It's not a criminal investigation now, I'd be totally surprised.
The RCMP say they've collected hundreds of hours of video from areas surrounding Lansdowne Station between April 28th and May 2nd, when the kids went missing, and have received nearly 500 tips from the public. Police say they've searched every aspect of the family's home and received authorization to seize and examine devices.
They'll go on the balance of probabilities based on the area that we fully searched with a lot of people. We can't find any evidence, be it a backpack, a shoe, or whatever. We can't find the kids. If you can't find them, that somebody has to say enough is enough right now for searching those areas. So now we move to where? There's only one other option. A nefarious take to this. In other words, a criminal type thing. That's only my personal opinion.
No footprints, no cries for help, no goodbye. On the morning of May the 2nd, 2025, 2 young children vanished from their trailer home deep in the woods of Nova Scotia. 6-year-old Lilly and her 4-year-old brother Jack Sullivan walked into silence and left behind a storm of unanswered questions.
Liam, come sing.
I got him.
Ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Lily, stop, honey.
Blow it, go.
Oh.
Yay! Happy birthday!
Happy birthday.
Lily, just...
What followed wasn't just a missing persons case. It became one of the most intense child search operations in Canadian history.
Several national agencies have joined the investigation for missing Pictou County siblings Jack and Lily Sullivan. The RCMP says more than 11 RCMP units are working the case, including the Major Crime Unit, Behavioral Sciences Group, and Criminal Analysis Service. The National Centre for Missing Persons and the Canadian Centre for Child Protection have also joined the investigation.
And yet, weeks later, investigators still had no idea where they went, or if they were even still alive. But this story doesn't begin with a disappearance. It begins with isolation. Lily and Jack lived with their mother, Malehia Brooks Murray, and their stepfather, Daniel Martel, in a remote area outside Westville, Nova Scotia. Their trailer sat along Gairloch Road, surrounded by thick forest, narrow dirt paths, and scattered homes. There was no cell service, no neighbors close enough to hear a scream, just trees and quiet. Daniel worked occasional shifts at a local lumber yard. Malehia mostly stayed home, raising their 3 kids, Lily, Jack, and a toddler named Meadow. They were, by all accounts, a struggling family in a forgotten place. Still, the kids went to school. They rode the bus. They had favorite toys, favorite boots. They were known to their teachers, known to their bus driver. They had routines, until they didn't. For weeks, no one could say for certain when the children were last seen, until new footage came to light. On May 28th, the RCMP confirmed that surveillance video captured Lily and Jack on the afternoon of May 1st, walking with family members in a public area not far from home. It was a vital moment, proof that the children were alive and outside the day before their disappearance.
Despite multiple searches, there's been no sign and little information until the Nova Scotia RCMP released an important detail.
We have confirmed that Lily and Jack were observed in public with family members on the afternoon of May 1st.
The children were reported missing the morning of Friday, May 2nd. Their mother has said they'd been kept home sick that day and the day before. A massive search followed until May 7th, when police announced efforts would be scaled back. Additional searches were held throughout the month. Confirmation they were seen on May 1st helps fill out the timeline.
It just shows continuity of who saw them last. Now, they don't say where they saw them.
Retired police staff Sergeant Jim Hoskins isn't involved in the case, but says it's rare for two children to go missing together. And since RCMP said early on there was no evidence of abduction.
If it's not a voluntary trek into the woods, you only have one other option if there's no abduction. That option is a criminal investigation.
But after that, silence. Investigators won't say where the footage was recorded or what happened after. All they confirmed was this: Lilly and Jack were visible, alert, and walking with adults just hours before vanishing from the face of the earth. Whatever happened to them, whatever horror followed, started sometime between that last recorded image and the quiet morning of May 2nd. That morning, Malaya says she was in and out of sleep. She remembers hearing the kids play, nothing unusual.
Possible, I want them home, I want to hold them, and I want them home. What happened was we woke up, I heard them playing in the next room beside us, and I was drifting in and out of sleep, and they're not the type of kids that we tell them not to go outside on their own. We always make sure that we're out there with them, watching them.
Daniel says he saw Lilly in the hallway, heard Jack's voice from the kitchen. He says he told them to be quiet because Meadow was still sleeping. Then, silence. Both parents say they noticed the house had gone quiet. That's when they got up, looked around, called their names.
This night was one of the worst nights because I didn't have them in their beds. And I don't want to go through that another night without them. And they happened to just get out that sliding door, and we can't hear it when it opens. And they were outside playing, but we weren't aware of it at the time. And the next thing we knew, it was quiet. And we get up, and I tell him, my partner, Daniel, I tell him, "Do you hear the kids?" And he says, "No." And we get up instantly. We're looking outside. We're looking everywhere, yelling for them.
And found nothing. No kids. No signs of where they went. No sound of a door opening. No footsteps down the gravel driveway. Daniel claimed they left through the back door, the same door he always complained the kids never closed behind them. But this time, he said, they had closed it gently, quietly, just disappeared. By 10:03 a.m., a 911 call was made. The search began.
And I instantly just called 911. I just had the instinct I needed to call. They're both really go-lucky children. They're so sweet. They talk to anyone. They'll talk your ear off. They will speak to anyone in a store. Everyone. They're just extremely sweet kids. I appreciate the huge search effort going on right now. But we've been pushing for an Amber Alert, which hasn't been issued. Not just that they could possibly be abducted, which it is a possibility that they could have been, but just an alert to let everyone know that they are missing. We thought maybe that we found tracks, but it's still uncertain. It's been raining and they're probably soaking wet, but with the sun today, I'm hopeful that they are feeling warm. We're all filled with pain and sorrow because we just want them found. We want them home. Everyone loves them.
RCMP officers were first on the scene. They brought in drones, search dogs, thermal cameras.
Technology is starting to be used across the country to help in these searches. The RCMP have what's called forward-looking infrared or FLIR technology. It's a kind of thermal imaging that detects heat signatures. In cases of missing persons, it can be used to find body heat in a forest.
It's been an incredible tool for us. We've had at least 2 finds with thermal imaging of subjects, and it just gives us the ability to operate in the dark.
The technology is often attached to a remotely piloted aircraft or drone, so it can scan specific areas and feed that information back to the operator on the ground. The operator will then analyze the footage and identify certain colors that may or may not be the missing person. Baldwin says it works really well in the winter because a person's body heat stands out. But he says it's more challenging during the summer months.
As we move into spring, summer here, we will be relying more on our visual camera for searching, because the treetops, rocks, things like that retain heat, and they are very close in temperature to a person, and it makes it very hard to distinguish what you're looking at in the image.
Baldwin says the technology isn't capable of seeing heat underground or in the water, and tree cover can also hinder search efforts.
Drones are excellent for searching regions where it's hard to access on foot, cliffy areas, deep drainages, but where their obstacles come in is actually the canopy of the trees, so how dense the forest is. As we move into the spring here, everything's greening up. That makes it harder to penetrate to the forest floor. So that's where it is possible to fly over someone and not see them.
So while the technology is a helpful tool, he says nothing will replace on-the-ground searchers.
The most success you have is people on the ground calling out and getting a response. That by far has been the most successful way we've found people. But why not have drones in the air? Why not have helicopters? Why not use every tool available? Because it just does increase your range and the number of eyes on the scene.
The woods surrounding the trailer were dense, uneven, and dangerous. Volunteers from all over the province came to help. Over 160 people joined the search in the following days. Helicopters flew overhead. Divers searched nearby ponds and lakes.
Search and rescue teams from across the province are on the ground here in Pictou County as the search for Lilly and Jack Sullivan enters its 4th day. Police say there's been no major breakthroughs as of Monday afternoon. The siblings, aged 4 and 6, were said to have wandered off from their home on Gairloch Road in Lansdowne Station on Friday. They were first reported as missing to the police around 10 a.m. About 120 search and rescue volunteers from as far as Lunenburg and Cape Breton are trekking through the vast wooded area in search of the children. The area's councillor walked up to the search area on Monday to thank the volunteers for their tireless efforts.
It's incredible the amount of people coming here, and they're rotating, let one shift go and the next shift comes in. They're searching at night.
An RCMP helicopter has been added to the search, in addition to 2 DNR choppers that have been patrolling the skies this weekend. About 8 drones are in operation as well.
If you've got a little one at home, give them an extra hug, because this is a tough thing. It could happen to anybody.
And still, nothing. No clothing, no toys, no backpacks. Lily's pink boots, gone. Jack's dinosaur boots, gone. Not a thread, not a footprint.
I find it hard to believe that a 6 and 4-year-old would just disappear like that. I guarantee you, if I was still working today, that'd be the thing you'd be racing around your mind all the time. Like, where would they have gone? Like, we have done everything. I think the last thing I read, they searched a square kilometer area, 5 kilometers. That's a big area. And that's meticulously searched.
The children were reported missing from a home on Gairloch Road on May 2nd, sparking a 6-day search that was eventually scaled back. Then, over the weekend, 115 search and rescue crew members were called back. RCMP have not said what prompted them to return, but Brown says it's not unusual to restart a search. He says there are a number of reasons police may call crews back, including tips or new evidence. But if that was the case, that information likely was not known by the search crews or even police officers on the ground.
They may tell them, we got a tip, and we just want you to go in that area and search and see if you find anything. They're not going to tell you exactly what was in the tip. It's not going to do it. They don't even tell their own people that, unless you are in the know, right? Unless it's like you're in that investigative group.
All right, so there is no portable reception down here. However, the cars do work, so Constable Mason's vehicle now, she's got her radio on the loudhailer, so she'll be able to hear us. She has no phone reception, but she does have photo of the 2 kids. The 6-year-old is the girl, I believe, and she's wearing pink. The 4-year-old is wearing some blue dinosaur boots. So, yeah, I think that's all we kind of have right now.
10-4, since radio service is not bad, do you guys want an extended timer there, a 10-6 timer? I can give you a monitor?
Yeah, definitely. Give us 2 hours, and then ask the risk manager if he wants Constable Mason to depart there to go get some phone service to send those images or not. The drone operator is still on scene with the mom, so.
10-4.
With the service, so you can get those photos to him. Sorry, you want her to go get service to send the photos?
10-4. It's Sergeant Young. Go somewhere and get service and get those photos sent off.
Council Mason, you copy?
Just to confirm, both Kilo dogs on scene there? If y'all can hear me there, are you guys on scene?
Kilo 6 is on scene and Kilo 9 till 17.
Thank you. You're out 3, go.
I'm 23. We 10-6, 2 hours.
Never.
Our pass from Patrol 4. Good. Yeah, are you still in the air? Yeah, 10-4. Okay, are we okay to drop down on the, looks like the east side of the road there? There's a gully system there. We just want to get down, have do some low passes there. Or are you doing orbits and crossing the road as well?
Yeah, I can stay to the, I can stay out of your area there. I'm at 270. How low are you looking to go? I can take it down too if you need.
No, just for deconfliction, I'll just stay on the east side of the road if you're going to stay on the west side of the road and work the backyards and over top of the residents. If you're not going to cross the road, we'll just drop down. There's a gully on the east side. We want to just kind of cruise the forest there.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, we'll stay on the east side for now, and we'll keep you advised when we switch back over.
Copy that.
Wait, or do you want me to check the other issue on mutual aid 6?
Yeah, you confirm, I believe, Sergeant Young is, I see that, Young or the risk manager will confirm whether they want him deployed to Lansdowne or here.
Yep, I spoke with the risk manager. He checked with you two, so I'll check with Sergeant Young, and that'll be the priority then. Well, Sergeant Young from Staff Sergeant Rose.
Give copy. Go ahead. TAC 6, Auxiliary 6 are both back, all back in service.
Yeah, Sergeant Young, risk manager checked. You needed the drone that we just had freed up here in Colchester. Would you like him to come your way? Back in the car there. No service. Go again. Just speaking of the risk manager, just confirming if you need the drone that was just freed up here in Colchester. We can send it to your way if you wish. It's thermal.
Yeah, that'd be great. A lot of area to cover. We're out in sticks here. You're very familiar.
Copy. Constable Tenapple. I'll tell him to report to you. Thanks.
The risk manager is still monitoring there?
Go.
Yeah, there's a dirt road just up past the address, the last point known. We can put vehicles on this dirt road. There's lots of big driveways and stuff. They're fine. If there's any other calls for you for updates, that'll be our staging area, whatever road this is.
Okay, 10-4. Looks like the map is in West Road. I'm guessing that's the one you're referring to.
Yeah, 10-4, I'm on it now. So, yeah, this is perfect. Yeah, 3, go ahead. 355, I'm going to request field communications unit to be sent out here to the 4 comms if this gets extended for a long period of time. 10-4.
members here on Gerlach Road. We just had a 911 call. Can I go ahead with the details?
Yeah, go ahead.
So we got a call via 911 from a Karen Ponacow. Time delay about 5 minutes. She was reporting just driving past a black Honda CRV, Nova Scotia marker Golf Mike Fox 320 that left the outdoor recreational park close to the residence. It is permanently closed. Complaint is unsure if related, but it felt a bit strange to her. Driver was a white male around 50 years old, bald with a mustache. And it left from 1480 Gerlach Road. I can send that down to your MWS if it's easier.
Got a copy of Bravo 3, deactivate and reactivate me to this one.
10-4, just came as an update there. Do you want me to send it to your MWS?
10-4, I think you probably send it to all of us there.
What was that address?
Looks like the address is 1480 Gerlach Road.
Yeah, Dan, I'm not sure. You know, there's certainly a possibility this one will roll into tomorrow. And I think Josh Weiss is, on call. So, I wouldn't necessarily cancel any big plans that you have. So optimistic. Maybe both the files that we have right now will get wrapped up.
Copy that. Yeah. I'm just trying to figure out if I should cancel my plans or not. But yeah, just keep me posted and keep it in mind.
Yeah, we'll do.
Negative at the moment here. We're just overhead the park and just still on the search pattern here. But we were just curious to know if you wanted us to kind of get eyes on that vehicle right away.
I'll quickly there just give her a call, see if I can get a direction of travel from her, and that way, if we do need to, we'll know which way they went.
Okay, yeah, thanks. Looks like it's gated. From our vantage point, standby one.
355, is that the old KOA campground?
I'll check there. Bye-bye.
355, do you want to send that name and number for that vehicle down to Corporal Bourne Short? We'll look after that here.
Definitely, thank you. You.
Remember the Kilo 6, come up the road with me. I'm way up past and head up this way with me.
Alright. So short, I emailed that there to you. And 53 Alpha 3, 355?
Yeah, turn around, come the other way. I'm up here up this road. Right here.
Thank you up there. So Shuby was contacted. The PSFB truck is requested for comms issues. Will be sent to the staging area. Alpha 3, did you copy that?
No, go ahead.
10-4, we talked to Shuby there. The PSFB truck is going to be sent to the staging area for the comms issue.
As the search intensified, so did the questions. Daniel and Malaya gave inconsistent statements. First, they said the kids were seen earlier in the week. Then, not at all. The timeline kept changing. So did the details. Who saw them last? What were they wearing? When did they actually realize the kids were missing? And yet, surveillance video would later show them, walking clearly, with their family, on May the 1st. A full day before the alleged disappearance. That fact alone shattered previous assumptions and forced investigators to rethink the entire timeline.
Police are now collecting security camera footage and trail camera footage from residents who live near, in, and around the search area. One of those residents CBC News spoke with lives about 5 kilometers as the crow flies from the home from which these children disappeared back on May 2nd. That's again when they were reported missing by their stepfather and mother.
While public appeals from the family were limited, police later confirmed they had advised the mother, Malaya, to avoid speaking to the media during the early stages of the investigation. She did, however, give a brief on-camera statement, expressing hope for their safe return. Just one day after the children were reported missing, the RCMP's Major Crimes Unit took over the case. From that point on, it was no longer treated as a simple case of 2 lost children. It was now a criminal investigation.
What I see from the outside, there's only 2 options here. Criminal involvement, search, they haven't found them yet. They legitimately got lost in the woods. I felt, okay, let's give them a couple of days to see if these kids are just wandered off, because they're only 6 and 4. So are they lost? They'll find them, maybe. If not, let's see how far it goes. And I says, and if it goes beyond 2 or 3 days, uh-oh. That was my reaction. What's next? Uh-oh.
Between May 2nd and May 18th, searchers combed over 5 square kilometers of rugged terrain, forests filled with ticks, bears, and deep brush, swamps, hills, creeks. Teams worked 12-hour days in grueling conditions. On May 4th, a small footprint was found. Hope flared. Search teams redirected toward the area, but nothing followed. No trail, no second footprint, no indication anyone else had passed through. Later, searchers discovered a pink blanket, some children's shirts, and a water bottle. But police confirmed they did not belong to Lilly or Jack. By May 7th, the RCMP made a public statement. The probability of survival is extremely small. It was a gut punch. For the family, for the community, and for the people still clinging to hope.
After 6 days of bushwhacking, scouring culverts and ravines, climbing over downed trees, and wading through waist-deep water, the RCMP announced Wednesday that they are scaling back the search for Lilly and Jack Sullivan.
As of today, May 7th, the active search efforts to locate Lilly and Jack will be scaled back. We're transitioning from a full-scale search to searches on more specific spaces that have already been searched by our teams. We want to circle back to increase the probability that all clues have been found. And when transitioning from an active search to a scaled-back search, the probability of survival is taken into consideration. I want to assure you that our missing persons investigation continues. We're not packing up, and we're not giving up.
An announcement the children's stepfather could see coming.
I mean, they can only do so much. They're running on as much sleep as I am. They've been over so many times with helicopters, drones, dogs. I mean, they're doing everything they can, just like me and my family are doing everything we can.
Martel adds him and his family have been working closely with the RCMP to assist in their investigation outside of the search effort.
They've gone through the house. They've gone around the property with dogs. I've given them everything they wanted. I gave them my phone. I asked for polygraph exams.
RCMP says this remains a missing persons investigation, but conceded the likelihood of survival after several days exposed to the elements is slim.
Based on the experts and the review of the facts, the inclement weather, the time frames, and their age, the likelihood that they're alive right now is very low.
But that doesn't mean officers are done searching the woods. A scaled-back search means volunteers will be leaving the site by end of day, handing all further search responsibilities over the RCMP, who will continue to monitor the situation and are considering cadaver dogs but haven't called them in at this point. Meanwhile, Major Crimes is pursuing all other leads as they continue to come up.
When it comes to a missing person, we have to automatically consider those, are there people that have different charter implications and things like that? So we will automatically start to consider what evidence is pointing us towards a suspicious in nature.
Despite the discouraging news, the community in Pictou County remains hopeful.
As the days wore on, the official story began to fray. According to online discussions, neighbors reportedly didn't hear anyone shouting for the children that morning. Not until the police arrived. If 2 toddlers had truly wandered off into the dense woods, why was there silence? No cries for help, no frantic calls, nothing. Daniel's interviews only added to the uncertainty. He described wading through swamps and shouting their names, clawing through brush and mud.
We were searching. We covered everywhere possible. Even in the first day we did. Even with me running through the woods, I was ahead of the helicopters and ahead of the drones and stuff like that. Screaming as loud as I can, just until my throat hurt. Running through water that was up to my waist. And as soon as I got back, I wasn't allowed back in the woods until a man dressed in a military outfit said I could go back into the woods.
But when cameras rolled, people noticed something else. He looked clean, calm, composed. His shirt tucked in, no visible scratches. He didn't cry. He didn't plead. Instead, he analyzed. "They're easy to take," he said in one interview. If someone pulled up with food or candy, they would have gotten in. It wasn't just what he said. It was how he said it. Steady, detached. For some watching, it didn't feel like a father desperate to find his children. It felt like something else entirely.
Awesome kids, very, very kind. They'll talk to anyone. They want to go with anyone. They're just looking to have as much fun as they can.
One of the most chilling parts of the investigation came from something seemingly small. Both parents insisted the children had left through the back door of the trailer. That door, Daniel explained, was practically silent. Malehia echoed him. You can't hear it when it opens. But for a home filled with children, curious, noisy children, a silent door should have been terrifying, not convenient, especially considering what had to happen next. Lilly and Jack, ages 6 and 4, would have had to get fully dressed, put on their boots, quietly open a door, walk across a noisy gravel yard, unlatch or climb a fence, disappear into dense woods, all without making a sound, without waking their parents, without triggering the dog, without leaving a single mark. It didn't add up. There was something else that raised questions. The 911 call reporting Lilly and Jack's disappearance was placed at approximately 10:03 a.m. But in online discussions, some began to wonder, had the children been missing earlier than that? Was there a delay in contacting authorities? And if so, why? What happened in those critical early hours? Were the parents searching, calling for help, or waiting? The RCMP has not confirmed when exactly the children were first noticed missing, only when the call came in. When a child goes missing, every minute counts, especially the first 2 hours. By the evening of May 2nd, emotions around the trailer were said to be growing tense. Some witnesses described raised voices and moments of visible strain between Daniel and members of Malehia's family, but these reports were never officially confirmed. What we do know is this: the very next day, something changed. According to Daniel Martel, during a search briefing, Malehia quietly stood up, walked away, and sat in the back of an ambulance with her baby and her mother. She didn't speak. She didn't return. Martel later told media he never saw her again.
The children's stepfather told CBC that after the disappearance, the children's mother left the area to be with her family in another part of the province and blocked him on social media.
My mother had to kick some people off the property because they were saying that I did it. I had something to do with it. And I'm the only one here fighting for them, which is sad.
Shortly after, Daniel visited Child Protective Services in Stellarton to see his daughter Meadow. He was denied. At this point, I can't be around her, he admitted. There were no public charges, no formal explanation. But Daniel, a man who claimed to be innocent, was suddenly barred from seeing his biological child.
RCMP insists this is still very much an active investigation. They're reviewing surveillance footage and following digital evidence. But the emotional toll has already left its mark on Martel, including the loss of custody of his daughter Meadow.
I haven't even got to see my own kids. Not even Meadow yet. But I'm still hopeful. I have supervised visits coming up that are granted by CPS.
Police then seized his electronics, phones, computers, tablets. They questioned him for hours. He told them everything: his bank statements, his Google Maps data, even his willingness to take a polygraph. The RCMP refused to confirm if they accepted it.
I just want to clear it up for everyone, not just the people online making crazy accusations and everything else.
Flying in someone to do a polygraph test, is that on you?
That's not just on me, but on everyone. That's what I asked for. I asked for that so early on, and there's not many places that do it in Canada, so they're flying somebody in.
Why do you think you need to do that? Do you think they don't believe you?
I think their side of the family doesn't believe me, and I just want to clear it up for everyone, not just the people online making crazy accusations and everything else.
The children's stepfather, Daniel Martel, says he has been interviewed extensively since Lilly and Jack were first reported missing.
You mentioned last time we chatted that you'd offered to do a polygraph test.
That is correct.
Has that already happened?
That has happened.
Right. And did you get results from that yet?
I do have results, and I don't know if I can share those results, but they were good in my favor, we'll say that.
Martel says he is glad the police have put out the additional call for footage and is again asking anyone with information to come forward. Despite not having had contact with the children's mother, Malaya, since May 3rd when she left the search area, he says an RCMP liaison has been assigned to keep them both informed as the investigation progresses.
Trust the RCMP word, and I mean, you don't have to trust my word, but I'm the only one doing media for Jack and Lilly, trying to keep the story alive and get them found.
Jack and Lilly's stepfather says he was the first to volunteer for a polygraph, hopeful it would help the search and ease public speculation.
I know it would be a big help in the case and kind of narrow down maybe some of the speculations and just provide more evidence.
Daniel Martel says during the polygraph test he was asked several things, including whether or not he was involved in the disappearance of the children. He says both his cell phone and that of his estranged wife were confiscated and searched by investigators. This and weeks of interviews, there still hasn't been a major break in the case. And for their stepfather, the silence inside the once busy home is deafening.
Going from a family of 7 to just me, I mean, I have nothing but time to just think.
By May 8th, something changed. Something no one said out loud, but everyone felt. The command post was gone. The press tents vanished. Helicopters stopped circling. What began as a rescue mission had become a criminal investigation. RCMP confirmed that their major crimes unit had been on the case since May 3rd. In most missing child cases, homicide detectives don't show up that quickly, unless something at the scene screams foul play. But no one was arrested. No one was charged. Just silence. After the search teams pulled back, silence returned to Gairloch Road. But this time, it felt different.
They're covering it all, everything they can. And you only do that in depth when there's a criminal investigation with major crime on scene. They're not there just because they're major crime. They're there to do their major crime work.
At Salt Springs Elementary, where Lilly and Jack had once taken the school bus each morning, their absence was like a hole in the air. Their bus driver, Brian Ward, kept driving the same route, past the same worn-down trailer, past the same mailbox. Every day, the same 2 seats on the school bus stayed empty. Front row, right side. Their name tags were still taped above them. Untouched. Since April 29th. Did they find Jack and Lilly? Not yet, Brian would gently reply. The children on that bus knew. The town knew. Even those who had never met Lilly and Jack felt it. Outside the Stellarton RCMP detachment, people began to leave small tokens. A white teddy bear, a bouquet of wildflowers, a lantern with 2 names scrawled across the side. Later, someone erected a tiny lighthouse, painted red and white. On its roof, Lilly and Jack. There were no speeches, no rallies, no hashtags, just quiet grief. At the edge of town, a candlelight vigil took place. Dozens of people stood in the dusk holding battery-powered candles, some real, some flickering plastic. Children whispered prayers. Adults held each other. Silence rolled through the air like fog. Some lit lanterns and let them drift into the sky.
What, dear? What?
What can I do?
A rainbow, my favorite.
Somebody go. the bamboo wire. When the air's
I was
enough,
just
they'll
hoping
fly
like
out.
that.
They say when it's enough hot air, it's all. There we go. Good job. That one's from Rick, so we gotta. Is that the other one?
There we go. There, she's away now. Up, lift, lift. There it's going. There it's on. There.
It's going, it's going. Don't hit the wires. It's going.
Oh. That's going the same direction. Yeah.
Tonight is about saying a prayer, and we're going to light the way home for them.
A paper lantern for 4-year-old Jack, another for 6-year-old Lilly, released into the twilight sky as a beacon of hope.
Illuminate the path for Lilly and Jack. Guide their footsteps home.
One by one, people placed candles, teddy bears, and angels outside the Stellarton RCMP detachment, a growing memorial as many questions are still unanswered.
Investigators remain committed to exploring all possibilities surrounding the children's disappearance. We want to thank all those who provided tips and information. Please know that we're fully engaged in finding out what happened to Lilly and Jack.
Some family members of the two children looked on as dozens of community members showed they care.
It's like every parent's worst nightmare. You don't ever want to have to ever go through something like this. And I think it's good to show them that their community is here for support if they need it.
Tell me what that's been like living here in this community and having to watch this unfold day after day.
It's hard because with Facebook, you're on Facebook every morning, check and see if there's an update. You go to the RCMP site to see if there's an update, and then you hear about searches, and your heart just breaks every time because you pray that today will be the day that they bring them home.
But while the real world mourned in stillness, the digital world exploded. Conspiracy theories spread across Facebook, Reddit, TikTok. Some accused the mother, others blamed the stepfather. There were wild rumors, human trafficking, cults, cover-ups. None of it was verified. All of it was dangerous. RCMP issued a public plea. Please refrain from spreading speculation online. We understand the community's pain, but misinformation only harms the investigation. Under Nova Scotia's Cyber Protection Act, even online harassment or baseless accusations could lead to legal consequences. And yet, the comments kept coming.
The children's mother didn't attend the vigil. Martel says the grief has been overwhelming, and online speculation hasn't helped, especially for their daughter that still lives with her.
Put your focus outward around Malaya and toward the kids. Don't attack Malaya, because her mental health is, it's going to be reflected on her daughter, so I don't want anyone attacking Malaya anymore.
Among online discussions, one detail drew particular attention. Some viewers noted that in early interviews, the parents may have spoken about the children in the past tense. Phrases like "Jack loved dinosaurs" or "Lilly was very curious" circulated on Reddit and social media as cause for concern. But there's an important distinction. No major news outlet or RCMP spokesperson has ever confirmed those quotes. There are no official transcripts proving a consistent use of past tense. And for grieving or overwhelmed families, emotional language isn't always precise. Still, the speculation lingered, not as fact, but as yet another layer of unease.
Jack just absolutely loves bugs, dinosaurs, and anything like that. But Lilly loves girly things, but she also loves doing everything with Jack, bugs. They're like best friends, not just brother and sister.
Search teams returned on May 17th with fresh personnel. Over 100 trained search and rescue members combed the area one more time. They looked in ravines. They pulled apart brush. They scanned lake beds with sonar. They pushed into places no one had reached before. And still, nothing. Not a thread of clothing. Not a boot. not a strap. Not a single trace that Lilly or Jack had ever walked those woods. As the days stretched into weeks, search crews began to uncover items in the forest. A pink blanket, a small child's shirt, a plastic water bottle. But when police examined them, they delivered a quiet but devastating truth. None of them belonged to Lilly or Jack. No nearby families were missing children. No birthday parties had taken place in the woods. No campers had reported lost gear. It was as if the forest itself was speaking, but not about this story. These weren't clues. They were echoes, and they led nowhere.
And optimism, right? We want to bring these two children home to their parents. We've got people who've been here since day one, since the first time the call came in. So they're tired and they're optimistic. They have one job. This is all search and rescue does, is they try to bring people home safely. So they're trying to stay on focus. They're trying to stay on mission. They're sacrificing their personal lives. They're sacrificing a lot to be here to try to help this family out, to bring these two children home.
Blueprint was on the pipeline, which is why we're extending our search efforts down the pipeline. We don't know for sure it was from the children, but it's the only real thing we've had to go on thus far, so we're just kind of investigating that further.
Then something happened that should have been minor, but wasn't. On May 13th, 11 days after the disappearance, the RCMP issued a correction. They had been spelling the little girl's name as Lilly, with one L. Her name was actually Lilly. A simple mistake? Maybe. But after hundreds of interviews, family contact, and national media attention, how had no one verified the spelling of a missing child's name? To some, it was a symptom of miscommunication, of a case slipping through cracks, of something deeper no one wanted to say out loud. By late May, over 180 tips had been submitted to police. Dozens of interviews had been conducted, neighbors, teachers, relatives, but there were still no arrests, no charges, no confirmed sightings after May 1st. Daniel Martel remained under intense public scrutiny, but was never formally accused of anything. Malahia Brooks Murray remained silent, as per RCMP instruction, and the community was still left with questions they didn't know how to ask. RCMP continued to treat the disappearance as suspicious. The case remains open and active, but the leads have grown quiet.
Good afternoon. I am Corporal Carly McCann, Provincial Public Information Officer for the Nova Scotia RCMP. Thank you all for being here today. First, I acknowledge that we are in Mi'kma'ki, the traditional and unceded ancestral territory of the Mi'kmaq people. I also recognize that African Nova Scotians are a distinct people whose histories, legacies, and contributions have enriched that part of Mi'kma'ki known as Nova Scotia for over 400 years. At this time, I invite the following officers to the podium with me. Inspector Mike Ingles, District Policing Officer for Northeast Nova District RCMP, Staff Sergeant Curtis McKinnon, Pictou County District Commander, Staff Sergeant Rob McCammon, Acting Officer in Charge of Major Crimes and Behavioral Sciences Group, and Amy Hansen, Search Manager with Colchester Ground Search and Rescue. Staff Sergeant Curtis McKinnon will provide you with an overview of the efforts to find Lilly and Jack. He will review the search and investigation that began on Friday morning and provide the current status and next steps. We will take questions from media present following that. I invite Staff Sergeant McKinnon to the podium.
Thank you all for being here today. First of all, our thoughts go out to the family and loved ones of Lilly and Jack Sullivan, to their communities, and to everyone who's worked day and night in an effort to find the children and bring them home. Since the first 911 call was received by the RCMP, reporting that 6-year-old Lilly and 4-year-old Jack had wandered away from their home on Garlick Road and Lansdowne Station, a multi-agency search has been underway. Teams have been working around the clock. This search has included many agencies, including volunteer ground search and rescue teams from across Nova Scotia and New Brunswick, the Civil Air Search and Rescue Association, known as CASERA, Department of Natural Resources Air Services, Nova Scotia Public Safety and Field Communications, Nova Scotia Guard, Joint Rescue Coordination Centre, Salvation Army, the Canada Heavy Urban Search and Rescue Task Force 5, and several RCMP units, including police dog services and drone operators. Since Saturday, because we treat all missing person files as suspicious until our investigation leads us to determine otherwise, our Major Crimes Unit has been engaged. It's been an all hands on deck effort using every available resource and tool. Since the search began on May 2nd, it has been concentrated in the Garlick Road area and has covered 4 square kilometers of heavy wooded rural terrain. Up to 160 trained volunteer searchers, along with many others, have been involved in the search each day. Tens of thousands of search hours have been dedicated to scouring the area, and GSAR has confirmed that over 100 tracks has been laid using GPS and grid searches. Efforts to locate Lilly and Jack have also included 2 vulnerable missing person alerts, posting their children's photos and information on Nova Scotia RCMP website and social media accounts. Our social accounts have more than 300,000 followers, and releasing information to local media as well as reporters across the country. Lilly and Jack have made headlines from coast to coast. While the search has been ongoing, RCMP officers continued with the missing person investigation, speaking with family and community members to gather tips and other information that could help locate the children. We have not received any confirmed reports of sightings. Lilly and Jack's family has been provided with regular updates on the search and on the missing person investigation. They've also been afforded supports. As of today, May 7th, the active search efforts to locate Lilly and Jack will be scaled back. We're transitioning from a full-scale search to searches of more specific spaces that have already been searched by our teams. We want to circle back to increase the probability that all clues have been found. And when transitioning from an active search to a scaled-back search, the probability of survival is taken into consideration. I want to assure you that our missing persons investigation continues. We're not packing up, and we're not giving up. Our investigation is broad, and it won't end until we know where Lilly and Jack are and can bring them home. We'll continue to investigate and chase leads for as long as and as hard as we have to. We have the best investigators working every aspect of the file. We continue to appeal to anyone who have information related to our investigation and who has not yet spoken to us to contact the Pictou County District RCMP at 902-485-4333 or Crime Stoppers. Before I close, I want to reiterate that our hearts go out to Lilly and Jack's family, to the community, and the people who've worked so incredibly hard to date. Many of us have children of our own and have wanted nothing more than to reunite Lilly and Jack with their loved ones. Thank you. What we'll be doing is we'll be continuing on. Just because today the search is being scaled back, we still will continue on, and we will go back to areas that we feel that we may need to re-look at, and we may expand out if there's any type of information that leads us to believe that we need to do that.
So if you'd like to follow up, how would that help you to specifically go to places that have been searched by hundreds of people, like you're saying? Like, how could that help you find new links?
Yeah, because of the terrain, there could be different types of things that we may want to try and get back in if we are able to locate anything that may come up that the searchers didn't go catch the first time. But we will do everything we can to try and find Jack and Lilly.
Weather and season changes as well.
Yeah, and based on the weather, the season changes, we don't want to leave, and we're not leaving. It's just that this part of this search is being scaled back.
Rob McCammon. Robert. And MCCAMON is the last name. So Major Crime became involved earlier in the investigation. We're able to bring in some specialized knowledge and skill sets, and we help with the information management and decision making. As we scale back, as we've identified, there are certain areas that are going to be relooked at that could contain a confined area perhaps, and maybe need some more specialized search areas. But I'll leave that to the search crews to expand on. And we're going to continue pursuing any leads or information that comes in, and the stuff that we do have. We have engaged in all areas of the RCMP. All tools that are available to us are being considered and engaged when appropriate.
Do you have a follow-up?
Yeah, as a follow-up, that I guess the general population looks at it and says, you've searched very thoroughly this area.
Mm-hmm.
You would have found them if they were there. Which then makes people, certainly on social media, people are assuming, rightly or wrongly, that there's a criminal element to this.
Sure.
And can you, I know, what can you tell me about that, your work on that potential?
Well, I can't really speculate on the investigation, obviously. That wouldn't be fair to the process. But we are constantly reviewing everything that's been done, looking at all different facets of available information, and we'll make decisions on that. I can't really comment on the details of that, but we will pursue every lead that becomes available and take it to where it needs to go. So.
Thank you. So is there a question? Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Okay, Nicholas again with CBC National News. You at first said it wasn't suspicious, you think the kids just wandered off. Now you're saying every missing person's investigation is considered suspicious. Is it still suspicious? Are there any suspects here?
Again, I'm not going to comment on the details of the investigation, but I will comment, when somebody goes missing and we become engaged as any police officer, not just major crime, we will look at all the details and make considerations on the information we have, right? When it comes to a missing person, we have to automatically consider are there people that have different charter implications and things like that? So we will automatically start to consider what evidence is pointing us towards a suspicious in nature. Again, I can't comment more than that, but every missing person case, we would approach it from the same process. A methodical collection and review of information with decisions based on that.
And the family has said they believe it's an abduction or they suspect it's an abduction. Are there now any clues or anything leading you to think that that might be possible?
If we had any information that led that way and we felt that we could provide anything with the public, we would have done that. We would have got that information out. We're working very closely with the family and we will pursue every avenue. But again, I'm not going to make any specific comments, but anything that would point towards that, we would immediately take steps to address things that need to be addressed.
Blair Rhodes, CBC. I think this question is most appropriate to Staff Sergeant. You talked about survivability. I was wondering if you could address that specifically, given the ages of the two missing children and the weather conditions we've experienced this week.
Yeah, so the incident command person with the RCMP, along with the search manager, at some point have to make a decision when would it scale back this search. And a number of factors would have to take into consideration, and they would, based upon scientific information that they have, to deem when that time has to come, and that is now. And a lot of those factors come into play would be the age of the missing persons, the weather, how long it's been, what area has been covered. So at that point, they have to make a decision on that.
I hate to ask this, but given their age and the conditions, if they were still in the woods, do you think they would still be alive?
I guess it goes back to all those factors that have to come into play, right? So we are scaling back because it's time to move to a different part of the search.
First Staff Sergeant Paul Holmes from CTV. Scale back versus active search. I know yesterday there was a number at or around 140 searchers on the ground before square kilometers, you said. Can you quantify what scaled back is? Like fewer searchers, smaller area, larger area? How does that look going forward?
Yeah, so just to go to the first point, there's been a lot of searchers here, and we can't thank them enough for being here. They've given up. A lot of them have been here since day one, and they have given up. Some have taken time off work, some have left their families behind, and we are very grateful for that. Saying that, we will look in on them and their senior managers to give us some recommendations of what else we can do, but we will take that and we will explore whatever we have and whatever we can do to check in spots that need to be checked or whatever. But at this point in time, after today, we just won't see all these searchers here.
My follow-up for the searchers.
Sure. Amy, if you're comfortable with that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I saw a person yesterday who was dressed like you, limping, being carried out. People were hot and sweaty to the Staff Sergeant's point. A lot of hard work. Can you talk about how rough it was in the woods? Like, it looks almost impassable. What did you see, or what did your people and your team see when you went into this wilderness?
Well, these woods, they are very thick. There's a lot of the hurricane damage from Fiona a couple of years ago, and we've had teams struggling to get through areas, and I can't say anything more about the searchers. They're pushing through all of these areas, going through all of these deadfalls, going through waterways and anything possible just to cover their search areas. So we know that everything has been so thoroughly searched that it's time to, as they say, scale back, and we are exhausting people. We're starting to see more injuries coming back the last couple of days, and it's hard terrain. Amy Hansen.
And
S-E-N.
And I will note as well, having had the opportunity to participate yesterday in a helicopter search as well, it is immensely clear looking from above, based on the orange tags on the trees, how thoroughly and meticulously the area has been searched, based on the indications you can see even from up in the air of how thorough the searches are. So I also give a hats off to the many searchers who have participated here in support of finding Lily and Jack. Yeah, if you'd like to go ahead.
Just with the search still continuing in the forest, is there evidence that the children are in the forest?
Is that any better at this point with the bell passed? I'll note as well the reason that the train is passing by slowly is out of respect for the fact that Lily and Jack are missing here. So it's passing slow in order to have their staff be aware and note the ongoing missing person investigation happening in the area here. So that just does again speak to the number of people involved and aware of this search and everything that's happening in this area, and the awareness and the way that the information has spread so widely through Nova Scotia and Canada. So I think we were with your question.
It was just about would you guys still investigate on searching for the children in the forest? Have you found any evidence that they are in the forest?
Okay. Have we found any evidence that they are?
Yeah, so at one point there was a possible boot impression found, and I can tell you that the search and rescuers then performed grid searches of that area and expanded out from that area in a meticulous fashion. They were focused and tight searches, and nothing else was found. It appeared it was a possible boot print of a smaller boot print, so when we have a possibility like that, that's when we exhaust that area as well. So make sure that wasn't a clue that we were missing.
Lindsay Armstrong with Canadian Press. I'm wondering, I understand canine unit has been involved. Have cadaver dogs been involved at this point?
I don't believe cadaver dogs have been involved at this point yet.
Will they become involved? And I'd also like to circle back to Blair's question on survivability. If you could give a little bit more detail there about how you're making the equation, bringing in cadaver dogs and assessing survivability.
So cadaver dogs could be the next step in terms of part when we talk about scaling back. That could be another option that we now look at using. And getting back to that point, I mean, that decision was made based on a lot of factors. And if we thought they were alive right now, we'd still be out there.
So could be, does that mean that no plans yet?
Not that I'm aware I can speak to of the cadaver dogs are coming or not. I can't speak to it.
Thank you. Is there a question here? No. Well, so George, do you two have something global? No. Okay.
I do.
Sure.
Hi.
Thank you.
I'm Lindsay Jones with the Globe and Mail. Wondering if you can clarify, we heard major crime has been involved since Sunday, is that correct?
Saturday morning.
Since Saturday, okay. So do you believe the children have met foul play?
Do you want to talk?
Again, I'm not going to comment on specifics of the investigation. We're going to continue on, and when we get to a point that we've got information that we're able to make any decisions that are able to be public, we'll let you know at that time. But right now, I'm not going to comment on specifics. So.
Okay, so, but you don't believe the children are alive anymore?
No, based on the experts and the review of the facts, the inclement weather, the time frames, and their age, the likelihood that they're alive right now is very low.
Okay, and can I just ask one more question about the scaling back of the search? Are you reducing the number of searchers out there, or is it being concentrated just with RCMP now, or how is that looking differently on the ground?
Yeah, absolutely. So the searchers will be finishing at the end of their operational period today, and now it'll come back to the Pictou District RCMP, and we'll make decisions and put in plans of how we move forward.
So rather than having the large presence here, the massive number of searchers on scene every day, searches will be based on information that comes in and specifics in order to make things pointed and specific to areas that are pinpointed or specific to a search need in the area. I believe we've gone through the group for questions at this point. So out of respect for the police officers here and the many searchers who are still there, I'd like to conclude our media availability today. Oh, sorry, is there one person with... Sorry, my apologies, sorry.
Alex Terrio, Stingray Radio. You mentioned you're circling back to find clues. You talked about the blueprints. Is there anything you're looking to find, expecting to find, or usually find in these situations?
We're looking for any type of clue, any information to help us out. And then we'll take that information and work forward from that.
Second follow-up, is the blueprint still involved in the search process, or was that deemed to be not relevant?
I can't say they're not relevant, but it was the search was exhausted in that area, and we were not able to find any more clues or evidence of that area.
Okay.
So.
Thank you very much.
Sorry, can you clarify, you just said to the previous question that the ground search and rescue is being called, like the volunteers are being called off after today?
Yes, at the end of the operational period today, they will be done.
Can you see that in French?
Again, out of respect for the search and rescue teams that continue to be on scene here and the police as well, we conclude this media availability today. And our thoughts do remain with Lilly and Jack's loved ones at this difficult time.
My heart tells me these babies are gone. My heart tells me that. I am the grandmother of Lilly and Jack. I am the grandmother on the biological father's side. My son is Cody Sullivan. He's not in jail. He's never been out west. He does not have a criminal record. And right now he's living with me. He has been for 9 months.
How did you find out that Lilly and Jack were missing?
The mom of my grandson called me. We were in town. She asked if I heard the news. She sent me the article that was on Facebook showing the kids missing. I couldn't call Malay yet, so I waited till we got home. And I called, well, I didn't call her, I texted her. And she told me that, yes, that the kids were missing, that they've been missing since this morning. I was in a state of panic, shock. But in the back of my mind, I kept saying, well, they'll find them. I mean, I'm assuming that they'd find them. So I told her, well, we'll head out first thing in the morning and help with the search. It was around between 3 and 3:30 in the morning. A couple of cop cars pull into the driveway. The lights wake me up that I'm a fairly light sleeper, so I see the cars pull in, so I knew what it was. So they come inside. They only stood in the kitchen. They wanted me to wake Cody up, and they wanted to know when was the last time he had seen the kids, and that they were just making sure that the kids weren't here. And then they left. So we showed up Saturday morning, me and my sister, and we met up with my daughter, and we started, well, I asked Malaya, I said, Malaya, I said, you know your kids. Nobody knows their kids like their mom. Where do your kids normally go to play out in the yard? What direction do they usually like to explore? And she said, well, they always play up in the little woods right on the side. I said, well, okay. I said, we'll start from that point and we'll work our way out. We had spoken to a search and rescue, and we weren't allowed on the other side because that's where they were searching at the time. So we just started combing through the woods up through there. We were gone for a couple of hours. I'm yelling for Lilly and Jack. We always call Jack Jackie boy. And yeah, that went on for a few hours, but those woods, I started to feel that I can't see them being in the woods. There's trees everywhere. You literally have to climb over trees, climb under bushes. It is really, really thick. We come back out and I went in to see Malaya again. I assumed she was in shock. She was very non-emotional, very just flat, monotone. But Malaya's very soft-spoken anyway. That she's not usually excitable. I thought that's made her a really great mom. She was an excellent mom. She never raised her voice at the kids. That it was always, now Lily, what did mommy say? And I used to think, now if anybody's meant to be a mom, it was her. A part of me still feels that.
Why only a part of you still feels that? What do you mean?
After seeing the place, seeing the condition of the home, it was like the total opposite of what I knew of Malaya. She was always clean, very clean about herself, about the kids, about her home. This home looked more like a camp. Now, I don't know if it's from all the people that were there, because I didn't show up till the day after, but it was very unkempt. I was pretty surprised.
I love you.
Lily is, she was my little dream girl, the first granddaughter. And I loved that she had the brown hair and she had a space between her teeth, which I had when I was a kid. So yeah, she was our little princess. Jack was such a sober, serious little baby that he didn't like to smile. You could tickle him and he would look at you ever so serious, like he was really studying you.
And so how long were your son and Malaya together?
3.5 years, I think it was, yeah. I thought they were the picture-perfect family. Then Malaya started to tell me that they were having problems and she wasn't happy. She told me that she wasn't happy and she thinks she's going to leave. And I told her that we supported whatever she decides, that one good parent is way better than 2 broken ones.
And then how did that change your relationship with Lily and Jack?
I thought it was going to change, but it didn't. Yeah, it didn't change. Malaya, she was a sweetheart. Anytime we wanted to see the kids, she'd come by for a visit. She'd bring them by all the time. It was actually really, really good.
So when was the last time you saw the children?
1.5 years. Almost, really, it's about 1 year and 9 months.
How did you deal with that?
Really, to be honest, maybe I didn't deal good enough with it. I looked at the fact that when her and my son separated, my son walked away. He chose to walk away, that she wanted sole custody of the kids. So she petitioned the courts for sole custody, and when she did that, he said he was done.
Were you ever formally questioned?
Yes.
So then it's about a month after Lily and Jack are last seen that they come and formally question you.
So it's about 3 weeks. They questioned Cody for 1.5 hours in the vehicle, and then they questioned me for 2 hours in the vehicle.
How did that feel to you?
I didn't mind. I mean, to me, I expected I'm the grandmother, so it wasn't a surprise to me. I'm assuming the sooner they do all that, I wish they would have done it sooner, that the sooner they can move on. So I didn't have a problem. My son was a little upset about it. He said they made him feel like he did something wrong, and he said he hadn't seen the kids in 3 years. So he was a little upset about it, that he said that they really come at him hard. They wanted to know what her favorite color was, and he said, they were babies when I seen them last. He said, she was just learning what she wanted to figure out to eat. I don't know what her color is. So yeah, he was pretty upset.
Have they ever talked to him again since then?
A couple of days ago, they had contact and they told him that they weren't looking his way anymore, that everything was fine.
And have they ever given you any information?
No, it's always the same thing.
Which is what?
They've got everybody on it. They are looking at all avenues. They can't divulge any information that could compromise their investigation. It's the exact same words.
Why are you so sure they're not in the woods?
I have children. I have grandchildren. And I see what kids are like through the woods. There's no reason for any child to wander deep into the woods. There's just not. I think somebody hurt these kids. I think somebody hurt them.
You don't sound very hopeful.
No. Our last day searching on Monday and seeing the woods and seeing the searchers and everybody everywhere. There's no way those kids are in the woods. There is nothing more pure and innocent than a 6 and a 4-year-old.
Today, pink ribbons still hang from the trees on Gairloch Road. Lily's note still clings to the wall inside the trailer. My mom makes cupcakes. We play with toys. I love my mom. Jack's bug drawings are still there too. His dinosaur boots are still missing. The school bus still passes the house. And every time, 2 front row seats remain untouched. Their names still taped above. What happened to Lilly and Jack Sullivan on that cold May morning? Were they taken? Did they wander off and become lost? Or is there still a chance, however small, that they're out there, waiting to be found? We don't have the answers yet, but that doesn't mean they'll never come. As long as this case remains open, so does the hope. And every voice that shares their story helps keep that hope alive. Thank you for staying with me through this story. Cases like this don't just need investigators. They need attention. They need community. They need belief. So if you found value in this work, share it, talk about it, keep their names out there. Because silence doesn't mean the end, and some stories are still waiting to be finished.